Hey everyone, welcome back to DittDott. My name's Amanda, and on this channel I do a lot of cooking videos and I do a lot of product review videos, always with products that I just absolutely love and stand behind. Tonight I'm doing a cooking video. I'm going to show y'all how to make a really super simple, when you're busy dinner, a unstuffed bell pepper. One of the reasons why I am doing it as an unstuffed bell pepper dish is because my kids don't really actually like stuffed bell peppers. They like the flavor of bell peppers. They don't like the texture of bell peppers. And I'm gonna actually talk a bit more about that in this video. So first thing we have to do is kind of chop up some vegetables. And while I get started chopping, I'm kind of going to give y'all a little bit of a life update. So first off, I want to say, wow, thank you all so much for your support on this channel. It's been crazy. My channel is actually, as of filming today, 1 year and 8 months old, and I actually reached monetization status. So YouTube puts ads on videos now, but creators don't get paid for those ads until they reach monetization requirements. So because of all of y'all's support, today's the day I hit monetization. So I will get to start to make some pennies for all of the videos that I make. But hey, I love it, and I'm here because I enjoy creating content. And actually, I love commenting down below. So go ahead and make sure that you drop comments because I love engaging with all of my subscribers. So what I'm doing right here is chopping this into pretty darn small pieces of bell pepper. So another life update is that this last month, both of my twins got a full diagnosis of being autistic, and one of them got the added bonus of ADHD diagnosis. They are, totally fine with me sharing, but it's been a busy month with figuring out all the diagnoses and just kind of getting that all straightened up. And then another thing is I've homeschooled my kids, and I've mentioned that several times on this channel, from pre-K till 8th grade. Well, this year for high school, we thought we were going to try to do public school. Who else does this? I always forget to pull off the sticker. So don't forget to pull off your sticker, because when you chop it up real small like that, it makes it even harder. So they were enrolled in school for about a month, and we have withdrawn them. The school was amazing, but getting a diagnosis like autism and enrolling in public school all within a couple of minutes of each other basically was just a little bit much. So I did try. I suspected autism actually maybe even over a year ago, but it takes a long time to get the resources that you need to actually get a diagnosis in a lot of cases. So doctors are just backed up. There was waiting list. Just took a lot of time. So I actually contacted the school last spring because I wanted to be able to try to get, accommodations set up for my kids, but because they didn't have a diagnosis yet, they couldn't do accommodations. So once they were started in school, the accommodations weren't available yet. The school did try to work with them and do as much as they could, but basically this is a message that I want to send to everyone. Your children's mental health is the most important thing. And the stress level of our entire family this last month was through the roof. We had crying, and my kids aren't criers, but they were just so stressed out. There was crying every day. They were getting sick. They were just their mental health was going downhill fast. So we withdrew them, and we are going to do a public school online option. I think it's going to be a beautiful fit for our family. We're getting them enrolled into an online academy. We're lucky to have that as a option that is available. So along with that update and the autism update, one of the accommodations that I'm getting for one of our children. Ira is getting a service dog. So she's getting a psychiatric service dog for autism support. And I did a lot of research and looked at different schools and foundations. Unfortunately, a lot of the schools for service dogs are privately funded. There's no like nonprofits or, ways to get these dogs in an affordable manner. Some people run GoFundMes and things like that. We just didn't really want to do that. But I did find and so these dogs, a lot of the schools cost anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000. So we found a local trainer, and she's going to work with us, and we're going to be able to, do payments and things like that. But we actually were able to find a dog already. It went so much faster than we thought. He's an Aussie Doodle. He lives with a trainer right now. He's getting all his basic obedience trainings and things like that. He's 11 months old. His name's Milo. I'll put a picture up of Ira giving Milo a giant big hug. He's so cute. We got to meet him yesterday. And so I'm also just chopping this onion up really, really smally. Hold on, what was I saying? I lost my train of thought. Milo, he's adorable. So yeah, he will live with the trainer for a while, and then he will come live with us, and we will be meeting with the trainer several times a week to continue doing service dog training. And it's going to be like a year-long process or more before he is a actual sort of service dog. It's a very long process. Okay, so I'm also using some sweet peppers just because I have them in the refrigerator. I chopped up a red one, and I've got a couple yellow ones. So I'm just chopping and talking. So that's kind of, I think, everything that's been going on. Buying a new dog that's going to be a service dog. It's going to be a huge change for our family. Starting public school, withdrawing from public school, enrolling in a new kind of online public school. So we're not going to be homeschoolers. We're going to be doing public school online. So it's kind of like a hybrid situation. And yeah, so that's why I haven't been quite as active on this channel. Oh, and with that, I actually did start a new channel. I started a channel called, it's my name right now, but it might be changing. And it is actually because while I was diagnosing my kids, I kind of realized that I might be autistic too. So I talk about that plus my other neurodivergencies of aphantasia and my memory disorder on my other channel, which I will link down in the description box below. So if you kind of like just hearing me talk, I do that on that channel a lot more. Okay, so we got bell peppers, onions, and sweet peppers. A lot of times, y'all know, I like to chop while I'm cooking, but this time I'm gonna go ahead and just chop up everything. If you have a food processor, you can use the food processor for chopping, but I feel like it kind of gets them all in different shapes and sizes and isn't gonna be as great. So I think it's just worth it to just kind of quickly, and if you're not talking, it'd go a lot faster. But I'm gonna go ahead and mince up. So you see how I've got a mushroom right here. So I'm just gonna mince up this mushroom, and I'm going to also just quickly dice up a bunch of celery, and then I'll meet you over in the stove for the next part. Okay, so starting off with a giant cutting board that like this makes it really nice. I did 2 stalks of celery and I don't know, probably like 6 or 8 mushrooms. Make sure that you dust off any dirt that's on top of the mushroom. So we're going to get a large skillet, and let's see, it's kind of up to you. A lot of times I'll use butter, but I think I'm gonna grab my olive oil this time. A lot of times I cook with avocado oil. And I'm going to try to carefully put everything but the mushrooms in. If a couple mushrooms get in, it's not a big deal. Aha, there is a hair on my shirt. That in the sink. That, I was like, what is tickling me? Okay, so I've got the celery, my onions going in, and my bell pepper. The reason why I am cutting up the bell pepper, like I said, my kids are autistic, and a lot of times autistic people have food sensory issues. So they both actually like the flavor of bell peppers, but they don't like the texture. And we have found that if I cut them up really small and get them cooked down, and they're not eating just like a big piece of a bell pepper, even when they cut it on their plate, it's just different. I think when you cook a bell pepper in this manner, it kind of can get a little bit more caramelized maybe, and just like the texture changes, and it makes it okay for them to eat. So, you know what? Take a dinner that I haven't been making for a long time, like stuffed bell peppers, and just kind of tweak it a little bit, and now it is sensory friendly for my kiddos. Now, the other thing is, a lot of times, cooking for family, right? A lot of times I will add rice to my stuffed bell pepper stuffing, but right now my husband is on a low carb diet, so I'm going to keep the rice separate and serve it on the side. And so those of us who want to eat rice can put down a bed of rice and put this on top, and the people or the husbands who don't want to eat rice are just gonna have like a bowl of stuffing, or maybe he'll put it in a lettuce cup. He does that a lot of times too. So we're gonna go ahead and get these vegetables. I'm also cooking a lot extra right now because, one, we have a friend over tonight. Y'all might hear some laughter coming up from upstairs, which is, believe me, a musical sound to my ears right now with all of the stress we've had. Hearing the kids upstairs laughing is just making my mama heart sing. But so yes, we have a guest, and I always like to make a little bit extra for leftovers. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this cook down. When they are almost done, we'll add in our mushrooms. So I was looking in my spice drawer here, trying to decide if I want to season or how much seasoning. One thing about me is every time I cook a dinner, I'm doing something slightly different. I kind of just go what feels good that day. So I'm looking at my seasonings. We're going to be using sausage, and sausage already has a lot of flavor and seasoning in it, but I don't want the vegetables to be bland. So I think I am going to mimic the sage that will also be in this sausage, and I might add a little bit of paprika, and we're going to add some garlic. So take a look at these vegetables. The pan's starting to get a little bit of color there, and the vegetables are starting to get some color. So that'll be perfect time to add in our mushrooms and some seasonings. I'm going to add in some squeezed garlic, but you can definitely use some fresh garlic too. I've really been enjoying the shortcut of squeezed garlic lately. I grew up watching Food Network, and I mean, you would think that using squeezed garlic was just the worst thing ever by watching Food Network. But as I've gotten older and busier with kids, it's like, you know what? It's fine. It's totally fine. Okay, I'm getting a bunch of color there. I don't want it to get too hot. If your skillet starts to get hotter than you want, lower the heat. You can also add just a couple of drops of water to deglaze the pan here. But I don't want it to get too soupy, but that if you get it before it burns, if it burns, you're too late. But if you just have it browning and then you pull up that water right there, that's just gonna add flavor to your vegetables, okay? So that's not a bad thing. And if you just put a splash, it'll cool down the pan a little bit, stop it from burning, and it won't make it too soupy. Oh, vegetables overboard. Okay, I got it cool down a little bit because my pan was getting way too hot there. I'm gonna go ahead and add some salt to these vegetables. You know, salt liberally because we don't want bland. I'm gonna add some pepper. I've got it on low right now. A little bit of paprika, and again, a little bit of this sage. Smells so good. Okay, get this stirred in, and then we're going to add our sausage. Now, what I should do isn't what I'm going to do. What I should do is pull these vegetables out And then that'll give my sausage a little bit easier time to cook. But I'm kind of a lazy cook a lot of times, so I'm not going to do that. So I like to, when I take these tubes, just kind of cut. I go around and then down. And then that way, the whole thing will come off nice and easy. Put this in the trash, and then we want to break that log up. So a lot of times I like to use a flat edge spoon. I grabbed a rounded one this time, so I'm just gonna work with what I've already got dirty. But we're gonna break the sausage up, get it incorporated in the vegetables, and I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, so it's been a few minutes now. Got the pork all broken up and cooked through, and it's all incorporated in with the vegetables. And oh my gosh, it smells so good. So next we are going to add in some Parmesan cheese. Now, I would normally use the bagged Parmesan where you just can grab some, but apparently I'm all out, so I'm gonna use the nicer side. And you can leave this ingredient out. It tastes really good without it. You could add a different kind of cheese, like maybe mozzarella, which would kind of give it a stringiness to it. But I think the hard nuttiness of the Parmesan just goes really well with the sausage. So as you can see, I grate a little bit and then I stir it in, because if you don't stir as you go, the cheese will clump up into just one giant clump. So you don't want that. So you kind of grate all around and then stir as you go. I'm gonna do one more round because I want it really cheesy tonight. And then if you want it to be extra cheesy flavor without actually adding cheese, but you do get to add not vegetables, but nutrition. Nutritional yeast is often used as a cheese substitute for vegans because it's got a very cheesy flavor. Okay, why won't it open? But it's actually vegan friendly, but it just has a cheesy flavor, and I like to add it to dishes like this because it adds a lot of nutrition, B12, which is kind of hard to get sometimes in our diets, and it just adds such an amazing flavor. Here's our unstuffed bell peppers, and I'm going to go ahead and plate it up and talk about some toppings, and we'll wrap up this video. All right, so here is our finished dish of unstuffed bell peppers. And like I said, I used some leftover rice. It's really easy to whip up some rice to go along with. And let's talk about some toppings. You can see Watson, my pug, walking behind me. So I put some of these crispy onions on top, but here's another thing that I've recently found, and I absolutely love these. If you can find them in your local store, crispy Dillies, again, not sponsored, but these are so delicious. It's by this same company, Fresh Gourmet. I ripped off the top, but they are like little fried pickles. So they would add kind of like a little sour to the top of your dish too. So might be an interesting option. You don't have to top it with anything. I just thought I like a little crunch. I mean, got the celery and everything in there, but let's give this a taste. So good. This is definitely a dish that I like to make like in the fall. I don't know why. Maybe it's the sausage, but it's so good. Oh, look at the steam coming up. It's warm and comforting. And honestly, the stuffing's the best part of stuffed bell peppers, so this is the best way to enjoy it. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thanks for giving me a chance to kind of share a life update with y'all. If you're new here, some of my videos are much more chatty like this. Some are more like, hey, let's get to cooking. And we have a little bit of everything on this channel. So with that, if you are new here, I hope you hit the subscribe button. Stick around for more future fun with me, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.